Hey, what's going on, everyone? Misha Wilson here, and once again, welcome to part 3 and the final part of this behind the scenes email profits mastery training. Now, within this training series, once again, you're discovering how John Hostler, our in-house copywriter, firstly builds a relationship with our new email list subscriber, next monetizes our list, so of course makes sales to our list, and of course, lastly, keeps the list healthy and builds really a list that serves as a long-term asset for us as a company that grows in both size and also strength and responsiveness, generating literally hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sales each and every single month like clockwork. So I know you're gonna get a ton of value out of this third little episode here that we have in this playlist. But with that said, if you missed episode 1 and if you missed episode 2, please go back and watch episode 1 and watch episode 2 before you go ahead and dive in here to episode number 3. Everything that John covers here in episode 3 will make so much more sense if you go through episode 1 and episode 2 first. And with that said, I don't want you to be confused. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I don't want you to be unsure of something that John trains on here because you haven't been through episode 1 and episode 2. And so with that said, be sure to check them out. We're gonna leave links directly below this video in the YouTube description of episode 1 and episode 2. If you have not watched those yet, go back and watch them before you dive in and go through this video and this training. And with that said, everything will make so much more sense and you will get so much more value. So with that said, last but not least, as always, if you get value, let us know in the comments section below what your biggest takeaway is from this video. And don't forget to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon notification button to get notified when we do more videos just like this. With that said, let's go ahead and dive right in.
So I'm going to move over to another page here. Excuse me. It's got to load. So this is a email that was in one of my other Gmail accounts, and it's a short one. So let me talk about that for a second. I find oftentimes when people are new to email marketing, they tend to want to write really long emails. And I think if I had to guess, it's because people feel like if it's not long enough, you're not going to get people interested enough to take action. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misjudging why people feel a certain way about certain things. But let me just say this. Don't use email to sell. 99% of the time. There's that 1% where you can do it in specific circumstances, but if you're just sending out these 2 times a day, daily broadcast messages, promotional emails to get people to buy what you're selling or whatever offer you're promoting, you're not using these emails to sell, right? The objective of those emails is to get people to click the link. And then the page that they go to, that's the page that's selling them. If you try to use emails to sell on a daily basis, you're going to just get low click-through rates and it's just not going to work for you. And it's so much harder to do. So the beauty of this, especially in this space, 1, it can be super casual, but 2, you don't need a long email. Now, I do say that it's important to test things out, right? So send out a short email, send out a middle kind of length email, send out a long email, see what gets results with your list. Remember back when I first started this conversation, talking about data and how the data will dictate what you should do. If for some crazy reason, your list responds to the longer emails on a more regular basis, then maybe that's something you need to do. But I have found in my own experience that people have very little interest in spending a lot of time on any one thing. So the better results tend to come from kind of these short, snappy messages that just drive people to a click, right? And oftentimes they can be sort of like vague and curiosity type emails, and that's cool. That's okay, right? So the good news is that means you don't have to like spend the 3 hours writing like this big, long message. Now, in the indoctrination sequence that we went through earlier, Yeah, that's a little bit longer, but that's a little bit different. This is sort of a different type of message. Now they've been through, they're in your, they're in your ecosystem. Now, that said, one thing that you may want to do is you may want to split it up. So you may want to do like this is what I do. Like I have a morning newsletter 3 times a week, and then an afternoon promo, and then 2 promos a day, Tuesday, Thursday. So that newsletter is sort of like content. It's not always content. Sometimes it's just tips or tools or whatever, right? But or just rants. But it's not just a hard promo email. And what's good about that is, you kind of get people into your sequence, your ecosystem, and you keep them engaged because they know that at least some of your emails aren't just selling something, they have some value, right? But that said, don't ever be afraid to sell. If people are not on your list buying, then they're just costing you money. You want them to buy. So those morning newsletter emails, if you decide to do that, those are going to be a little bit longer, but that's a different style of email, not really what we're talking about here. Here we're kind of just talking about broadcast promos, how to come up with these things from scratch, right? So let's just say that, I did what I've told you to do, and I got a message from a marketer, and I was like, oh, that one speaks to me. So what I would do is then I would copy that, message into a doc, and I would make it mine. So here's literally live how I would do that, right? So I always do this. So I go to the line that I want to edit. So here it's the subject line, and that subject was please answer me. And frankly, that's a pretty decent subject line because it's like, it feels like it might be someone that I know, that, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like it's open this for the top 10 money-making methods of, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like there's any ulterior motive. It just feels like someone's sending me a message. So that's probably a pretty good subject line. But I'm not gonna steal it. I'm gonna swipe it. So for me, FYI, I always find that question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark gets attention. I don't know what it is about it, but try weaving that into your subject lines and see if it doesn't help you. In fact, I have a subject line which literally just question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark, and it kills. Okay. So you can see what I did, right? So I took please answer me and I made it into why won't you answer me, which I think is a pretty solid version of that. So now I've just made that subject line my own. Again, it says something very similar, but it's not the same, right? That's mine. Okay. All right. So let's, we can leave the hey. No one accused us of stealing anything that's hey. So let's kind of read through this message. Are you still interested in working from home? I have this amazing gig that is getting great results. I need your answer today before it goes to the next person in line. Okay. So let's make this mine. So you can see that I, entered my white space in there, gave myself that space to kind of take that, are you still interested in working from home, and turning it into my own message, right? Okay, so, hey, are you still interested in working from home? Oh, so. I apologize. I'm terrible at typing, and I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So I might go a little quiet as I try to spit out this message here, but we'll get there, and it will be a result that we want, right? All right. So I know you want to work from home because you are here. Okay. So we took, are you still interested in working at home? And we kind of made that into a statement. I know you want to work from home because you're here right now, right? You wouldn't be reading this message. I'm going to add that. So now what I'm doing is expounding that just a little bit, right? So you have literally all of the license in the world to do whatever you want with these. So, I mean, obviously you're editing them to make them your own. You don't have to make them the same length. You don't have to make them the same size. Literally, you can do whatever you want. The idea, though, is to just take that base premise of that message and make it your own. Okay. So for me, I felt like going a little bit deeper into that. You're here, so I know you want to work from home. I just kind of went a little deeper into that with this second line here. Now, I might go ahead and add a question. Well, why aren't you so I'm on a new laptop here and I don't know the keyboard yet. Okay, so instead of I have this amazing gig that is getting great results, and now bear in mind, I didn't necessarily grab this message because I thought it was the best message in the world. In this particular case, I just grabbed one of the top ones that was sitting in my one account. So so I changed that to a question again, and also here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bold this. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice, guys. I apologize. And then what I would do is I would actually hyperlink this line out to whatever I'm promoting. So basically, it's like, I know you want to work from home. Well, why aren't you yet? And didn't you see this? Which implies that, they should already be in there, right? Kind of throwing a little bit of FOMO under the table. Didn't you see this system is getting real results for even total beginners? Now, again, we're not making any explicit promises. We're just kind of, high level making, alluding to potential for success. And that's important, right? No promises, just allude to, the potential and talk about the benefits. Okay. All right, so this line. So I need your answer today before it goes to the next person. So one good thing about this message that I grabbed to swipe here is that what they had in the subject line, which was, I think, please answer me before I edited it, they reiterate, I need your answer today before it goes to the next person in line. I find that click-through rates are higher when you sort of repeat that subject line content somewhere in the body. So that's sort of another little tip to enhance your click-through rate. Okay. So, what I'm hearing from what I'm hearing, this won't be open forever. So you will want to get your spot fast. Okay. Now, here's where I'm going to show you a little trick. Oh. Okay, we haven't gotten to that stuff yet. Okay, so right up here, as I said, this is going to be a hyperlink out to the offer, and then from what I'm hearing, this won't be open forever. So now, what I did was I threw a little bit of urgency in there, but again, I didn't give any exact details because really, whatever we're promoting, who knows? But the idea that it won't be open forever, that's not untrue because most of these products, they have a shelf life, right? Before they are either refreshed into something new or closed down for good or whatever. So to say something like that is certainly not untrue, but it gives a little bit of motivation to get on something now. And then give me an answer as soon as possible so I can let them know. This connects with the subject line that we talked about. And then here's another cool little trick. So you can do this in SendLane for sure. I'm not positive about some of the other ESPs. You have to check, but make it look like a checkbox. So instead of like just a yes, no with a link, make it look like a checkbox. So here's how you can do that on Google Docs, and then you just copy paste it into SendLane. So insert, where's symbol, special characters. Okay, and then you go in here and it's like checkbox. I forget exactly. It's going to be one of these. We want one of the empty ones. It's not going to be one of these though. It should be a big one, box. Okay, let's just try box and see how that works. Box. Oh, that's weird. On my laptop, it doesn't come up with the same one. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. I'll find it. Let's do check. Okay, no. All right, let's try square. I don't know if I could spell square. Ah, here we go. Right there. White large square. Boop. Okay. So you can see what I did was I just grabbed a symbol, which is white large square. And I'm going to see if I can just copy it and paste it down next to the no. And we did. Okay. And then what I would do is I would bold this, bold this. And when I'm putting this into SendLane, I would highlight this whole thing and then insert the hyperlink to my offer. Here on no, I would highlight this whole thing, insert the hyperlink to my offer. So now, one, it looks like they're giving an answer in the email. Really, that's a clickable link. But it looks like they're saying, yes, I'm into the system, or no, I'm not into the system. And two, even though they said, no, I'm not interested, well, I'm going to send them to that offer anyway. What's the worst thing that's going to happen there? The best thing that could happen there is that subscriber sees the offer and goes, oh, crap, that is good. I'm into it. I'm down. I'm going to buy it. The worst thing is that subscriber goes, John, you're an asshole. Why did you do that to me? I unsubscribe. Well, believe me, it's going to happen either way. Even if you never promoted anything ever, people are going to unsubscribe, right? So don't worry about that stuff. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be like trying to trick people into, like you've got a PayPal payment coming. I mean, you don't want to do that stuff because that's not cool. But stuff like this, I mean, basically you're just putting those people in front of an offer, and either they take it or they don't. If they don't want to be on your list, then they get off your list. And frankly, if that person's not going to buy from you anyway, then you're saving yourself money. And it's a really great tip for blowing up your click-through rates. Those little check boxes, and even if you don't want to do the no, you could change it to, if you don't want to do that, if you don't like that, you could get rid of the checkbox and the no and say, answer no by doing nothing at all. And, I'll wish you the best of luck. You could just do something like that if you didn't want to do that checkbox. But either way, these little checkboxes, again, you highlight the whole thing in SendLane, make it a clickable link, and boom, that will blow up your click-through rates. Okay, so here you close it out. John, I don't usually do PSs, but you could do a PS there if you want to or not. You don't have to. Okay. One of the other things that I like for the promotional emails also is maybe you put a button below this. With SendLane, they're clickable buttons instead of just a hyperlink. Those do really well, those bright pink clickable buttons. So you can add those as well to really blow up your click-through rates. All right, so that would be how to create a promotional email from scratch. So we just took someone else's idea, built on it, made it our own, made it better in my opinion, and now I know we're going to get opens and we're going to get clicks. So last thing I'm going to talk about here today, and then I'm going to let you guys get about your business, is I already talked to you about engagement and making sure that you've got engagement, open rates over 10%. Last thing is just kind of managing that process. So I'm going to show you an example. Google Sheet that I've got. This is just got last year, data from last year on it, but it's just an example sheet. But here's one of the things that I do. I don't know why the headers aren't on there. Okay, so maybe let's see if it got, no. Okay, I don't know why I'm missing the headers on this, but basically let me just go through the columns. So here's the subject line, here's the date it was sent, this is the open rate, this is the click-through rate, this is the total clicks, this is the link clicks, which means people that clicked the actual link, and then this is the people that clicked the unsubscribe link. So I just go through every Sunday and I literally write these down. I write the subject lines that I used over that week, the date that I used them, and then the corresponding data, the open rate, the click-through rate, the total clicks, the link clicks, and the unsub clicks, because this helps me to see what's working with my list. I talked about before several times now, or at least a couple times, like taking the data and using that to help you, figure out what you want to do in the future. Well, with this, I can easily go through and see which emails are getting me the best open rate, right? I just click here, do data, do a sort range, and I'm going to sort from, if I want to see the open rates, this is column C here. And then smallest to largest, I'll do largest to smallest. And then boom, there's my largest open rates in this whole period. And I look at it and go, huh, past due, and all caps, that really worked. It had a 20% open rate. It had a 6% click-through rate. That worked. So now either if I've put enough time in between that email and today, maybe I just reuse that whole email and subject line again. Perfectly acceptable. You don't have to write a new one every single time. You can reuse your old stuff. Or the other option will be to swipe yourself. Maybe a new subject line and a little bit of different body, and now it's a new message. And see if you can kind of keep replicating this kind of success. Now, the reason that I keep track of total clicks, link clicks, and unsubs is because if I just kept track of total clicks, I might look at this and go, wow, 785 clicks in that message. That's phenomenal. But the reality is only 450 of those clicked out to the offer. Unsubs was 176 of those. And then there was more that probably went to YouTube. We were sending people to a YouTube channel in there. So some of those clicks went to the YouTube channel as well. But not necessarily for this email in particular, but what I'm really looking for is if I was to send out an email and it said, oh, you've got 1,000 clicks today. If I just looked at that 1,000 number, I'd be like, oh, that's a really solid email. Good job, John. Pat yourself on the back and go about your business. Well, if I didn't dig a little deeper to see how many went to my link versus how many unsubscribed, I might not, let's say that 700 people unsubscribed from that email. Well, in that case, that email was terrible. Yes, it got 1,000 clicks, but 300 of them went to the link and 700 of them unsubscribed. Not great, wouldn't use again, right? So that's why I track that data, to be able to make sure that even if a subject line works, did the email work by itself? And these link stats tell me if that email worked. So a really smart thing to do. I've got this template. If anybody needs it, I think it's posted to Facebook, the Facebook group already, but really smart thing to do, track what you're doing. And then use that to see what your list likes so that you can try to replicate that either by just reusing that message. I wouldn't reuse it once, like maybe once every 30 days at most. So simply reusing it to get more results from that message, or swiping yourself. We talked about swiping. I literally swipe myself. So the thing that I did with this message, I would grab my own message and do this exact same thing. I would just do that whole process and swipe myself. The idea being I'm trying to replicate the idea without replicating the message. And then conversely, of course, like I said, also looking at things that are not working. Like if something is bad for your list, then you're definitely not going to want to do that again, right? Okay, So, guys, that is it for me on our email marketing discussion today. I really hope that you got some good value out of this. I hope you got some good takeaways and some really good ideas about how to, work your subscribers after they sign up, and then some great ways to quickly and easily get together some really cool subject lines and emails that you can be sending to them on the broadcast side after they're done with your indoctrination sequence.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Everyone, did you guys get a ton of value from John? Let me know in the comments box. I know I learned a ton. And this kind of methodology that John has when it comes to tracking is absolutely changing when you can look at which subject lines are working, which emails are getting better click-through rates, and kind of, again, combo everything together. And I know John mentioned a couple of different times we could go on for days when it comes to a full-on course, and that could be a hint at something to come here very shortly. And if you guys got value, you guys will definitely want to tune in when we go ahead and roll that out. So John, once again, thanks, man. Appreciate it immensely. It was awesome. I saw a bunch of comments along the way. One comment I saw that I just wanted to expand on is someone mentioned that your emails are very conversational. It didn't feel, like a pitch. It was more of just a conversation, talking to someone like they're a regular human being. And that's, a huge goal with email marketing. That's what John does really well. And with that said, John, appreciate everything you do. And with that said, it looks like everyone absolutely loved it, man. So thank you so much for coming out. And we'll be following up here shortly with another training from John here just around the corner, guys.